But to turn a blind eye and pretend everything is okay, it just isn't an option right now. And you might say, but Dylan, I don't want to get political. Babe, supporting trans people, it shouldn't be political. There should be nothing controversial or divisive about working with us. And I know it's possible because I've worked with some fantastic companies who care, but caring about the LGBTQ plus community requires a lot more than just a donation somewhere during Pride Month. And all this to say, bottom line is that if you follow me, if I've made you smile, if you care about me, I need you to care about every trans person. And I need you to support us, and I need you to stand by us.
And just like that, Dylan has been awakened to the faux activism of big corporations when it comes to woke social causes. Be it Pride Month, be it Black Lives Matter, be it Me Too, whatever, throwing around a donation here or there to keep your ESG score up does not an activist make. Dylan's video really seems to be Dylan's moment of being black-pilled in a funny sort of way. I mean, Dylan has realized that even companies that claim to care don't really care that much. However, Dylan is again being very disingenuous by saying that supporting and working with trans people isn't political, given the fact that currently women's rights, by which I mean adult human females' rights, are slowly but surely being eroded by the trans lobby. Whether it's women's sports or women's spaces, you all know what I am talking about. There is now a kind of tug-of-war between old-fashioned female-centric feminism and radical gender theory, and it really seems like radical gender theory has the upper hand. That is very political. And for Dylan to say brands working with trans people shouldn't be political or divisive, when Dylan literally did an ad for Nike women's sports bras, despite the fact Dylan is male and does not have breasts, and has made multiple videos obsessing over tampons and then patronized the women who voiced their concerns about that obsession, is just the height of hypocrisy. That, or it's just a massive lack of self-awareness. I mean, sheesh. But stepping back a little though, I have on occasion mulled over the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light controversy over the past couple of months, particularly since Bud Light sales have just continued to get worse. Normally these boycotts seem to have a much shorter life than this, but as Harry Schumacher said earlier in the video, these lower sales for Bud Light are now just business as usual. So what was it about Dylan, about this particular partnership, that caused such a virulent reaction? Not from the left, I understand why they were mad, but why did conservatives, and I'm also guessing your average apolitical normie as well, given the scale of the boycott, really double down on this? Like, I don't think this would have happened 18 months or so ago. I think it's because over the past year or so, the trans lobby, not to be confused with trans people generally, by the way, I'm talking about political activists, many of which aren't trans, appear to have turned their attention to children. Be that through woke school teachers, be that through drag events for children, or advocating for teenage girls to have double mastectomies because they are uncomfortable with their breasts. There are a number of arrows pointed in that direction. Dylan has advocated for gender-affirming care for minors when speaking to Joe Biden at the White House, as I mentioned earlier. I think political commentator and author Douglas Murray sums it up perfectly.
A poll that just got published in the United States showed that among the general population, support for gay marriage has been starting to decline in the last year. Why is that? It's because the arguments that actually brought about liberal rights for all minorities in the last few decades have started to get turned on their head and turned against people. What is the source of that? It is the gender ideology movement. What is the tripwire for the general public? It is children. It is people learning that their children are being taught nonsensical things. It is being seen by the wider public, most of whom are heterosexual and don't need to identify as cis or anything else. It is being seen from that vantage point as the LGBTQIA plus movement losing control of itself. And so a backlash is starting. And the backlash is coming because people are lying to children and are using children for medical experiments. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing that should cause levity in that. It should be treated by adults seriously.
All in all, the big mistake the left made with this stuff was bringing the kids into it. In the case of Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney was the unfortunate cat who got kicked, but the whole thing represents a much, much deeper and growing resentment than one singular trans activist. Let me know what you think in the comments below.